If by some chance, some stroke of luck, or some act of God, you have stumbled upon this broadcast, you are listening to The Chivalry Chronicles with your host, Dr. DLH.
I'm a damn doctor.
David.
We're going to bring the tea
refuse
to not drink during the podcast.
Yeah.
And me, Jaime.
They need to make podcast equipment a lot more expensive to get some of these clowns off the air.
Gather around as we discuss a modern, manly approach to chivalry. So I hope you're ready, because I know we are. So let's get into it.
Come on, dog. Sorry. You were a little late on that.
Yeah, sorry. I had to put these headphones on.
You've been doing this for about a year. Still
Hey, you know what? I think I still have these headphones on wrong. Let's see.
Oh, my God.
No, that says left. Okay. It fits a little different today. I don't know.
Really?
Did you do something to these headphones?
Yeah, I did. You don't want to know what I did. Oh, my God. So how's it going? So we have David here, and DLH wasn't able to make it. He's working.
Trying to charge that doctor money on.
Yeah.
We ain't paying it.
Yeah, he's a contract holdout. He's trying to make some demands.
Yeah, he ain't get them yellow M&Ms. I don't give a damn what he does.
You know, it's hard to find talent nowadays. Good talent.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there talking, right? We're back, and we're sitting there talking. We're talking about stand-up comics, and I was talking to David, and I said, all right, let's talk about the best stand-up comics. And I was like, let's talk about the best stand-up comics and why Hispanic isn't one of them. You know, it's like, and then of course David was like, wait a minute, why wouldn't there be? And I was like, well, let's go, let's talk about it. And if you look up any stand-up comic list, you know, what's the, you know, the number one for most of them is Richard Pryor.
Absolutely.
Which I can't really, I'm not going to debate it. He was really good. He's probably, you know, blazed the trail, you know, changed the way comedy was done. So I remember one of his, but I don't remember the rest of it. My first intro to stand-up comedy was probably Eddie Murphy, you know, with Delirious. But then when Raw came out, it was just like, we know that. We watched it. Over and over and over.
Would that be your favorite of all time? The
yeah.
Raw? Yeah,
it probably has to be.
Same here.
It's so good, man.
And like I remember watching Richard Pryor's. I don't remember the names of all of his.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy was on fire with the movies and everything that he was coming out with.
Yeah, he was everywhere.
And he was just, the guy's just hilarious. But
he was in Superman.
I guess I say Eddie Murphy Raw because that's more along the lines of when I was old enough to comprehend comedy a bit more, and that it stood out, like the opening of that show, and they're standing in front of the TV as little kids. And he's just doing
kick them in the ding ding.
And what's funny is that, you know, as a kid, you were doing stupid shit like that to begin with. So to see it on there and then it just cut right into him wearing that leather suit or whatever the heck it was, plastic.
No, it was leather.
Leather.
He had the gloves, and it was purple. Because in Delirious, he wore a red one.
Yeah.
In Raw, he had a purple with the gloves, dog. That's still, to me, I was like, damn. Like,
do you think he got that cue from Prince on the purple?
I don't know.
Because the red one kind of looks like, you know, similar to Michael Jackson Thriller.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't.
What still trips me out is the gloves. Like that just takes a little. Like I've always wondered with comics, one of them did it. Like, why don't you have just a towel? You know, some brothers, when we'd go to parties, they always had a towel over their shoulder, you know, because they sweated, and so they used the towel. But some of these comics, man, when they're up there, they are freaking sweating their ass off. And I'm like, just have a towel there, man. But anyway, Eddie Murphy Raw to me was like, it's probably my most favorite stand-up. And I can watch it whenever it's on. I can, sometimes I just go look for it and watch clips. That's the beauty about YouTube. I can just go type in Eddie Murphy Raw, and it just gives me everything in segments, because now we can't sit for 2 hours,
Yeah.
I'll watch 10 minutes.
And then because of TikTok, they even made those clips shorter.
Yeah.
Shorts.
So to me, that's the top of the top. And because my era is probably Eddie Murphy, I have nothing to really argue about Richard Pryor, because most of the stuff that I watched was Eddie Murphy. And so when Eddie Murphy was talking about, we used to go down to the basement and listen to Richard Pryor and laugh and stuff and have it really low because he's cussing and stuff.
Yeah. Did you put it on a record?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with us, we used to do the same thing because, my dad knows English, right? I can speak English for the most part and understands a little bit, but they know cuss words. So it's not like, they're not going to understand all of it. But if you say the F word, or which Eddie Murphy was the king of, fucking profanity, they were like, what the hell are you listening to? And turn that shit off, And so we used to do that. We'd be watching, and then my dad would come and you're like, I got to change the channel, bro. You got to.
I was fortunate in that sense. And I don't know if it's fortunate, because I don't know if it's the proper way to raise a kid, but with cuss words and stuff like that, it was no big deal.
So at 2 years old, you're like,
yeah, I remember.
Well, wait a minute. For them to cuss or for you to cuss?
Well, no, I just never cussed in front of them to this day.
Really?
Yeah, I'm freaking 45 years old, and I have yet to cuss.
Wait, hold on.
I say damn and hell. That's the closest I get.
To your son or your dad?
To my folks.
Okay, to your, oh yeah.
Yeah, or
absolutely.
when I'm around them, I don't cuss, and I also don't drink in front of them.
Yeah, I agree. I think I told this story on the podcast that I was probably like 35, 36. Mm-hmm. My parents had come down for Thanksgiving. And, I'm kind of like, should I drink? And I'm like, wait a minute, this is my motherfucking house. Like, I pay these bills. So I was like,
but they gave you life, though.
Yeah. So I think I just started drinking then. But I was already like maybe 35, 38. It was like way past, But I don't cuss. Definitely not in Spanish. And probably not in English either. Like, I kind of, it just feels weird to cuss around.
I put the off mode. My brother's the exact opposite.
Really?
My brother cusses in front of them a lot, and he'll drink in front of them. I drink more than my brother.
Is he older or younger than you are?
5 years younger.
So you're never like, hey, dude, what the fuck?
No. No, there came a time whenever he was in high school, I was in college, and I remember drinking pretty heavy the night before. And every now and then, whenever he'd pop off at the mouth, we would start wrestling, and then I'd pin him to the floor, and I'd put him like in a chokehold and say, "Who's your big brother?" kind of deal. And I remember after that night of drinking, I woke up. He said something. Next thing you know, we're wrestling, and he pins me this time.
Damn.
On the ground, and tells me, "Who's your little brother? Who's your little brother?" And so from that point on, I've never wrestled with my brother anymore.
I think we need to see that, man.
I know. Well, my brother's 6'2", 6'3", something like that. Yeah, so he's
I met
bigger
him.
than me.
I think at Fright Night we should bring a ring out there. We need to do a Fright Night exclusive, Hailing from Amarillo, Texas. So anyway, we were talking about best stand-up comics of all time. And when I thought about doing my 5, they were all black comics. And that's because that's what we watched. And, we saw some of the Latino comics like, George Lopez. I guess he got bigger later, like in the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Carlos Mencia and all this. But to me, they're not Eddie Murphy. They're not Chris Rock. They're not Dave Chappelle. And even Martin Lawrence's You're So Crazy is one of my favorite also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love that stand-up. It's freaking hilarious. And then you have other people that say Bernie Mac is really good. And I get it. but I would not. He would not be in my top 5. He probably wouldn't even make the top 10 for me personally.
Yeah, I'd say this, and I'd say the exact same thing with Cedric the Entertainer. Stuff like that.
I think he's okay.
Yeah, they're worth watching,
but they're
don't
not.
Get me wrong. Yeah,
they're not the top to me.
They're not
it's
rate
Eddie
worthy.
Murphy, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. You know, those are my top 3, and then the 4 and 5, you can convince me that maybe Martin Lawrence should be in there. Maybe, what's his name? I guess Richard Pryor has to be in there.
Yeah, I have to put Richard Pryor.
Yeah,
in mine.
so to me, but those top 3, without a doubt. If you were to tell me, Jaime, you can only listen to these 3 or 4 comics and everyone else is hands off, then I would probably be in that realm of Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, and Dave Chappelle. You give me those 3, and I'm good.
Yeah, I'd have Richard Pryor. I'd have Eddie Murphy. Oh boy, I would pick Dave Chappelle over Chris Rock.
Really?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
if I was to throw someone totally different in there, and I think it's just because more so he's gained a lot more traction in my feeds.
Yeah.
Is Bill Burr. Like
Bill Burr is funny.
Bill Burr's stuff, yeah, I find it hilarious. Just the way he talks and just demeans people, but in a in a way to get back at him. Like he's almost like that little guy that stood against the bully kind of deal.
Yeah,
and does it with
I
don't want to say grace, but it's just well crafted.
He's hilarious. I know one of the funniest ones that I remember from him is he talks about guys that watch the draft, which I watched the NFL draft, and I would do my own draft board, and I would sit there, and he makes fun of all that, and then I was laughing because like, yeah, he's talking about me, but he's like, you got these guys, and they're like, who are they going to pick? Who are they going to pick? They're like, if you just wait one day, you'll know exactly who they pick. Like, that's not the point of it, but still, I thought that was hilarious. The other one, he did a most recent one that I watched for Bill Burr, and he talks about that men can only have 2 feelings. That they can either be okay or angry. He goes, that's the only acceptable things that men can be. And he goes, we feel everything else, but that's over here and it's called gay. Because he was like, when you see your boy or something like, hey, how you doing? I'm okay, I'm good. And then it's like, are you sure? I said I'm good. You sure you're good? Man, I said it. So you're okay or you're angry. That's it. So he's really good at that. Nate Bargatze, I think we talked about him.
Yeah, that was the one that I have yet to ever follow or hear anything about.
If we're getting into the lighter shades of comics, he's really funny. There's some comics that I don't get, will never get, and I don't understand how people think they're funny, is like Robin Williams. I love him as an actor, as a comedic actor, as just a dramatic actor or something like that. But man, as a stand-up comedian, I did not get it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But above him, the one that I guess I get why people find him funny, but it's not my kind of funny. And I think that's the real issue. And that's Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld, I all my bros from back home would quote all the stuff from the Seinfeld episodes and stuff like that. And then some of his actual stand-up stuff. And it was like, that's not funny. That's just not funny to me.
The show was funny. Like I watched the show, and my brothers and I would watch the actual show, which intermixed some of his stand-up in it. Mm-hmm. And the way the show was laid out was funny. But I just don't remember his stand-up and being all that memorable,
Yeah.
Like I can tell you about Martin Lawrence, You're So Crazy. Like there's a bunch of stuff that I can quote from that, or Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker, and all that stuff. But man, Jerry Seinfeld, the show, love it, watched it, but his stand up, I don't remember it all that well, or even going, man, this is really good and you got to watch it. Steve Martin, I know people have him on his list, and I think it's bad. Steve Martin Short, all that, like I don't get it. I just don't get it. If we want to go into like female comics,
well, before you get into that one that I want to throw out there is that Norm Macdonald.
yeah, he's funny.
He's got some
dry humor.
good stuff. Yeah, it's very very dry, like meta type humor kind of deal. But I've tried to sit through. I don't remember which show it was, which stand-up show it was, but it's funny, but it's not there. And to see him ranked on some of these lists in the top 15, top 20, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got a bunch of them like that, and a lot of these, I would have to. I mean, I guess because I'm not aware of Joan Collins and whatever she did in stand up, like
Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, I don't know. Like
Yeah,
I've never heard her stuff.
Well, I remember seeing her, but I can't remember any of the jokes. I know she was considered top of the game back in the day, but I was at the bottom of the game at that day, not paying attention.
I was on the bench.
I was waiting for my time.
Yeah, Joan Rivers. I mean, I know she had that show, and I know she was big, but I mean, it's just not my thing. So I wouldn't even. She wouldn't crack anywhere in my top 1 billion.
Yeah. Now the old school one that I do like his stand-ups, and that's George Carlin. Just
he's pretty good.
Some of the satire, the political satire and stuff that it would do was just.
But would he be your top 10, top 15, top 20?
No. He'd definitely would fall in the 15. But
yeah,
I don't know that he'd reach the top 10.
See, with me, I don't know. I'm kind of partial to black stand-up comics. Like, I think I would look at Eddie Griffin, who had a great stand-up comedy show. He was really freaking funny. I kind of have this love-hate relationship with Jamie Foxx, right? Mm-hmm. At first, I was like, he's a really good stand-up comic. Like he has like 3 of them. 2 of them are really good, and I think the other one was just kind of fell off a little bit. But that dude can do anything. You know what I'm saying? He can sing, he can act. And at first I was like, man, is he really that great of an actor? And then you watch that one on Ray, 2004 Ray. You're like, yeah, he's pretty fucking good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's really good. He's unpredictable.
Okay. All right, let's end the show now. I love him in Django, but his stand-up is really good. Yeah. I mean, it is funny. When he talks about doing the movie with LL Cool J, and they actually got into a fight in that movie. Like, they didn't like each other. Mm-hmm. And so there's reports of Jamie Foxx hitting LL Cool J and LL Cool J hitting Jamie Foxx, like actually fighting, even though it's supposed to be just a scene. And if you look that up, it's freaking hilarious because he talks about it in his stand-up.
I remember they got into it, but I didn't realize it came to blows like that.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is like.
So is there footage of the fight?
No.
Okay.
I've never seen footage of it.
But you're saying it was part of his stand-up?
It's part of his stand-up. He goes, yeah, he hit me, but I wasn't ready. He's like.
He's playing like Chris Rock did after he got slapped?
Yeah, he's like, I act. It's like, you put me in a fight, I'll beat your ass. That type of stuff. The other thing he says about him, he goes, we're trying to do the scene, and he goes, and LL is like, he's into his role. He goes, I'm playing this role, and whoever you think you are, it's like, because he said he got too into the role. He's over there doing sprints and stuff, and it's like, bro, we're acting as football players. This ain't spring, this ain't like, we're not, doing preseason right now. He was making fun of him that he just took it too serious, and it's like, I mean, I don't know if that's such a bad thing, but so they had it was part of his stand-up, and then later on, here in the past, I don't know, 5-6 years, they asked LL about it, and so then everybody came out the woodwork, like talking about it. And
they're cool though now, ain't they?
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, still? Oh, shoot.
I don't think it ever. Yeah, they're still clinging to their stories of. There's the other stand-up comic that was also in the movie that he tells his story. He's like, here's what really happened. and he did pretty much knock him out. And I think LL did knock Jamie Foxx out or something like that. But he's another one that, you know, if I'm looking at the top comics, I mean, I think I would choose him over some of these other.
Yeah.
You know,
now, how about Cat Williams? Speaking of,
I love Cat Williams.
Remember when Cat Williams got into that fight with that kid or something like that?
Yes. Well, then he also raced that other kid, you know, because he said he ran a 4.3 or something.
Now, would you put him in your
top 10? Definitely top 10.
I would put him in there, and that's one thing that's funny because in the list that I pulled up on my end doesn't even make mention of him. But
no, Cat Williams, the Pimp Chronicles, awesome. And then we were talking about you and I were talking about that freaking interview he did with Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that could be a whole stand-up. Like, if you just listen to that.
That was hilarious. In fact, I want to say that pushed Shannon's show, like,
oh yeah,
not only just that episode, but even subsequent episodes that Shannon Sharp had, people were watching just because of what went down with Cat Williams.
He was so good, man. When he talks about he's like, you could be Kang the Conqueror, and he'll take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
And it's weird because I guess the way he talks and he's talking about his stories, like it teeters on that. Is he really being serious? Like, did this really happen to him, or is he just being funny, or is he adding color to that story?
I think so. Or I think the majority of the story is true, but because he's a comedian, right?
Yeah.
You wanna add to it. You want to make it a little bit more. But I think because everything he said in that, it checks out. Like he said, he was in Friday, mm-hmm. like the second Friday, the next Friday or whatever, and he doesn't have any teeth. And he said, he goes, I basically took that movie and with that paycheck fixed my teeth. But in that movie, he doesn't have the front teeth. Like he said, they got knocked out doing something. I think most of it, aside from him reading, I don't know how many books he said he read.
Yeah, some of the stuff just sounds outrageous.
There's no way. There's no way. Unless you're just have it on, you know, what are those books you listen to and shit?
Audiobook.
Those audiobooks.
But hell, when you think about that, it takes longer to read or listen to an audiobook than it takes you to physically read it. So that can be true.
Way. No, that was the only one.
I guess you could put it at 5 times speed or something like that. But even that, I think you could still read faster than you can hear.
That one, I call bullshit on. The other one I call bullshit on is that he could run like a 4.3 or something, or like I was like, yeah, I don't know about that, bro.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, that's why listening to that interview is like, okay, what's truth, and what is exaggerated, and what is just a flat out lie.
I would say probably 80% is true, and 20% is he can read that many books.
Either way, that episode or that show was.
But I don't doubt that he's freaking brilliant. That maybe Mensa or whoever was trying to get at him.
Yeah, well, maybe he was Mensa.
But I will tell you, I think he is. I think he's super talented. And I think it's
because the thing with him is every time you hear, unless they're asking him the exact same question, he's always surfacing new ideas, new thoughts.
Yeah,
like I mean, obviously we've only seen the recorded comedy shows. So, but I'd imagine if you went to his live show, one was completely or close to completely different on the second, because it just sounded like he pivots quite a bit and just builds material.
Yeah, and his stand up is great. Like he would be in my top 10, like without a doubt. He talks about hanging out with Mexican families, you know, which is freaking hilarious. They said that they just keep partying all night. He said
it's funny about that. That's true.
Yeah, and then he talks about partying with your white friends. He goes because they do something that you're just not accustomed to. He's like, because they pay for everything. So, which is, well, I'll tell that story later. Anyway,
now we were going to go
trying to keep it PG.
Well, we were going to keep pivot to women comedians,
right? And so we were talking about, you know, when we said, well, what are your top 5? You know, I looked at my top 5. I was like, they're all black stand-up comedians. I was like, and I do love Latino or Hispanic or Mexican comedians, but I just don't think they're as good as these 5. Now, when I go to female stand-up comedians, it's chock full of Latinas, man.
Yeah.
I mean, with Angela Johnson and Cristela Alonso, which has a new stand-up here that came out last week. And this other one that I was telling David about is Sofia Niño de Rivera. But it's all in Spanish, so just be aware it's in Spanish. She is freaking hilarious. But some of the other ones, like, what's her name? Nikki Glazer. I don't know if you've ever listened to her. She's freaking hilarious. And then she's even better when she does roast. Like on Comedy Central, they do roast.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. Okay, it's that she's kind of tall, blonde.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, I wouldn't been able to identify her by her name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
She is. She could freaking.
She's brutal on those those roasts.
Yeah, she said Blake Griffin looked like he was, because he's white, right? Or he's half white, half black. He said Blake Griffin looks like somebody that they used a printer that ran out of black ink. They printed him. God, dog. It's like, damn. Yeah, she's just, oh my God. She talks about one of her comics, one of her stand-ups. She says, you know, we've had a lot of great ones, you know, die in the past year. He goes, how about you take some of these guys that ain't that good, you know? You quit taking all the great ones and stuff. And she's, oh my God, her stand-up is, now she kind of gets overly sexual, and I kind of, you know, I guess when guys do it, you do get a little cringy with it, but with women, it's just kind of even more weird, you know? It's like, I don't really need to hear all that, but but I think that's partly because I'm a dude, and you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have some notoriety, so it's I know at the end of the day, when it comes to comedians, and it goes with your taste and essentially a lot of things that you grew up or saw or experienced, those are the things that really gravitate to you whenever you're watching a comedy show.
Yeah, there's some other ones that are pretty good. There's some that I'm just like, I don't get. Eliza Schlesinger, I don't get her. Like I've watched her stand up. It's just not. I don't really.
I guess I don't. I can't think of who she is, but
she's really pretty. She's
really?
She's super cute.
I'll look her up right now.
Blonde. I mean, and you know, you're like, oh, she's a comic. Let's see, and it's just not
there.
I'm not.
Well, the one that to me is not there overall is Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen DeGeneres?
I don't think she's funny at all. Well, she's good for like dad type jokes. But
well, she hadn't done shit in years though. So
yeah. But I mean, I remember watching her back in the day, and it's just like almost like a Seinfeld to me.
Probably I don't remember her being all that funny. I don't know if you've seen Ali Wong. She wrote a bunch of stuff. She was a writer, and then she became she started doing stand up, and it's okay, but she screams throughout the whole thing.
That can get annoying.
Just like, I'm like, okay, can we just narrow it down a little bit?
Now, how about Sarah Silverman?
I think she's funny.
I like her stuff.
Yeah, I
like
think
her
she's
stuff.
freaking hilarious.
Now she's definitely somebody that can watch.
She'll go like she goes straight for like super shocking stuff, which
the jugular.
Yeah, but I do like her. But the Angela Johnson to me is like freaking hilarious. I mean, I've watched most, if not all, hers. We saw her live last year. Cristela, I've seen all 3 of her shows. The one that just came out, we watched it. We saw her live. But those are Hispanic comics or really Mexican American comics that, you know, kind of cater to what, you know, we're Mexican or we're Mexican American, you know. And so you kind of identify with everything they're saying.
Yeah.
I know when we went to go see Angela Johnson, she had another guy opening up, and I can't remember his name. He was a black comic, and he said that he had gone over to a friend of his house when he was a kid, and he goes, here's how you know you're poor, right? We were eating fries and something, and then, you know, I go, hey, where's your ketchup drawer, you know? They're like, what? Like, there's a drawer with a bunch of ketchup in it.
Oh man, I have one of those still.
Yeah. So he's like, you know what that means is that you were poor. Like, he goes, we have a ketchup bottle right here. He's like, no, the ketchup drawer. You go in there, there's mustard, there's ketchup, soy sauce. I was like, damn it.
Sweet and sour, honey mustard.
I'm going to go home, empty that drawer.
I literally have a drawer that has nothing but that shit in there.
Yeah. We used to have it was like a little, what do you call it? Just a little container. Yeah, that was like woven and shit. You'd reach in there. Yeah, you want to get some ketchup.
Well, just like all the comadres and stuff that repurpose the butter container. The potato salad, then you just open it up and they're like, oh my God, I just watched.
Yeah, there was another comic that said, because yeah, man, did y'all ever do this as a kid? We played The Ground is Lava, and so we jumped from couch to couch, and this is and that. She goes, you know what that means, right? He's like, you were poor. Like, you didn't have the Nintendo. You had to make do and use your imagination, and I was like, shit. I did that too. So I think that's why you gravitate towards those comics. And I guess I see why some people like Robin Williams and, all these other like white comics, because they talk about stuff that you're just not accustomed to. You're not used to.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So yeah, when the guy was talking about the ketchup drawer, I was like, damn it. And that's what I love. They take everyday stuff and they just kind of shine a light on it. Like, this is part and parcel to your culture and how you grew up.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, like a lot of Angela Johnson stuff is like that. Cristela, she's from the Valley. Mm-hmm. I mean, she talks about her brother finally getting citizenship. It took him 30 years. And I was like, yes, my cousin got citizenship like 5 years ago, and it was 30 years. Like, it's, people think it's easy. It's not. Yeah. They put every obstacle you can think of. So, when they say stuff, which gets me back to Carlos Mencia, right? Carlos Mencia, which I thought was great, like in the early 90s, his first couple of stand-ups were excellent. He got into the whole, you're stealing jokes, and then, basically got canceled, I guess. I don't know. But in one of his interviews, he's talking about, he goes, look, when you're growing up, there's certain experiences that you think are unique to you, but everybody goes through that.
Yeah.
And so if I made a joke about it, of course someone else is going to have a joke about that. Now it gets to like who said it first.
Yeah, because that's whenever he was explaining like where people were saying that he copied, he was like, I didn't, and here's some different examples of why.
Right.
It's all circular because we all experience similarities growing up. So it's likely that it's going to surface at some point.
Yeah. Which is
I get that. And the other thing that he was saying, and I'm not defending Carlos Mencia because he's not even one of my favorites out of the Latino comedians, but he was also just talking about like it would be hard to steal jokes at that time because it wasn't like you just go in with the phone and you record somebody and you catch it, or you can get a clip of it on YouTube and that type of stuff. So it would result in you'd have to physically go and see that show and then go and replicate it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot of setup to some jokes, and so I get that, and I watched a lot of his interviews, and I thought it was really good. I remember we went to go see him in Dallas when I think it was in college. So I drove up to Dallas, and my brother, my sister, and we wanted to go see him. He was freaking hilarious that day. And then I was kind of like, damn, because he had that show, The Mind of Mencia, like he got really big.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you can't get too big. People come after you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. And
I think it was probably because of that show and his fame being high at that point.
Yeah.
That all you got to do is get a rumor that sticks. And maybe, whether it's true or not true.
And and did they provide enough evidence that you're going to see it? Then maybe he did. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say he didn't.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of strong evidence that he might have. But I do still enjoy his first couple of stand-ups. I mean, I thought they were great. The other ones, like we were talking about Ralph Barbosa. Mm-hmm. David is like, I mean, I try to watch his stuff, and
it's hard to laugh.
And I get it.
It just gives, he'll give his pothead joke. And you're like, okay, yeah, I heard that with Cheech and Chong back in the 70s, bro. And I wasn't even born then.
Yeah. And so, which gets to another one. Cheech is another one. I'm always you're going to get my download, right? You're Hispanic. You grew up in Oak Cliff, which is Dallas. I'm from Dallas. So you're going to get my download. I'm going to support you. But yeah, man, I watched his Netflix special and I was like, oh my God, like this is... And it's part of it is his delivery. He's very slow talking, and he does look like he's always high.
Yeah, it's like a stoner's talking to you, and I've
and unless you're high, it's like hanging around with drunk people, right?
Yeah. It's like, come on now.
Yeah, if you're not drunk and you're around a bunch of drunks, they get really annoying. Luckily, I'm always drunk. And you got another one in that. Speaking of,
I got you.
Speaking of, so that's another one. Like I tried, man. I watched some of his interviews. I watched his stand up. I think he did Jimmy Fallon. He did one of the late night shows.
It was Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, and then what also brought it to prominence is that his whole deal with George Lopez.
Yeah, I think that's what pushed him more than anything, because he was trending upward.
Yeah,
but then whenever George Lopez, and if you, because I did listen to George Lopez's podcast specifically where he said what he did, and the whole the whole context was more. It was all more.
Man,
nonchalant.
Don't stick up for George Lopez.
Yeah,
bro.
no, I am. I am going to stick up for him, because he was just talking about it, and the dude asked him, "What about?" Well, he was like, "Oh, I don't even know him. He's nothing." Like, but
But why? But why would you say that?
Well, because I think they were just bantering back and forth, and so I think it wasn't the name that did it. It was just more like, no, I don't know who he is, but it's
a bit of a dick
nothing.
move, man.
He shouldn't have did it. He shouldn't have did it overall. But whenever I listen to the content, like, it didn't land as hard as they made it sound.
Yeah,
that's I guess that's my point.
And Ralph's comment on it was perfect. He's like, he shouldn't. He's like, he shouldn't care about me. I'm nobody to him, so
yeah,
I don't care. He good. And then he said he wasn't one of my favorite comics, so it's not like it hurt my feelings. He goes, if it had been like, I think he said Chappelle or something, then that would have hurt.
Eric Estrada.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that I think it's funny. Comics are never off, right? Comics are always comics. Like, it doesn't matter whether they're getting interviewed on the late night show or they're in a podcast.
I've heard some dark talks about comics, like when I think it related to like they were talking about Robin Williams and committing suicide, and they were talking about other comedians along similar lines, where they have a hard time being able to switch.
Yes.
And as such, in the back of their mind, they're suffering, but they're
always on.
Yeah, they're always on. Like a Bill Murray. I hear, I've heard stories on Bill Murray where
Jim Carrey,
where Bill Murray will randomly walk into like a house and go hang out and party with them, but then also just be like this very recluse, don't talk to me kind of person either.
Yeah.
So
Jim Carrey, I don't think I've ever seen a interview with him where he just has a normal conversation, and it's like at some point it gets annoying. It's like, dude, like,
let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something.
You need to be who you are.
I'm like, man, can we just get through this interview real quick?
Well, I did hear something on Jim Carrey. I don't remember what other actor, but I guess they were saying like he didn't come out of character the whole time during the filming. Like you couldn't even have a conversation with him because he was always in
whenever
the Andy
Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, that movie.
Yeah,
he was in
and that was a pretty good movie.
I've never seen it.
I liked it, but Andy Kaufman's comedy isn't funny to me.
No.
So, I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah. Angela Johnson, I don't know if we talked about her. She's really good. Alex Raimundo, have you ever seen him? He's pretty funny.
Mm-mm.
I believe he's a Mexican. He's Mexican American or something, but he has a real southern drawl. He has like a bit of a hick accent, and it's funny.
Is he the one that is from Corpus?
I don't know. He has long hair.
Oh no, that's
he's married to he's married to a white lady, but his stand up was called his Hispanic.
Oh yeah, I think I have seen him, or I think I have watched something because that rings.
Then you have Felipe Esparza that sounds like MT.
Yeah,
you know, like when I first heard him, I was like,
he looks MT cut his hair, so we got a bro. He's been on this podcast before during the wrestling episode, but if you hear his voice, it sounds like Felipe Esparza. And then MT also had the same hairdo for a good while.
Yeah, long hair.
And then he trimmed it. But yeah.
Yeah, and then Gabriel Iglesias or Fluffy.
Yeah, to me, even though I personally would put another or two Hispanic comedians over him, I think Fluffy is the top.
The top Hispanic comedian?
Yeah. And maybe even of all time.
Of all time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ready to answer that. I don't think so, but...
You don't think so? Who do you put? Because, see, and I know you're going to disagree with this, but I do put George Lopez. I do put him maybe even second. I'm a toss between Paul Rodriguez and George Lopez. And Paul Rodriguez, back in the day,
yeah,
he was awesome. I got to see him in Vegas one time, and I got to see him in.
I would think Paul Rodriguez is better than George Lopez. I've never been like a huge George Lopez fan, and I'll tell you why. His comedy never evolved. Like, we get it, bro. You're Mexican. Like, let's get on with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times? It's like, it's like, what's his name? Jeff Foxworthy and stuff. You're Mexican when, like, bro, like, we heard it already. Like, come up with something else.
Hey, he said redneck.
I know,
but he doesn't get to go under my banner.
But that's basically George Lopez is the Mexican Jeff Foxworthy.
And that's what. Whenever I went to see him, I guess it was 2 years ago now. I had
who's that?
George Lopez when he came here to San Antonio. I had free tickets, and my brother.
Well, that's why you went. You didn't even pay for him.
Well, I probably wasn't. There was something else going on that night too. I think we had an event or something, and I didn't go because I went to George Lopez.
Let me look it up.
And when I went, I did expect the same type of and honestly, if he does the same kind of comedy, I'm all with it. Because I do like it.
Man, I think that's good when you go see a band, like an old band. You have to play me all the hits, but if I go to see a comedian...
No. And I don't want to hear the exact same joke, but if it's along those same lines, I'm okay with it.
Be like, bro.
That said, he veered off in different areas that he hadn't done that I've seen in his shows. So I think it's probably different if you're catching them live. And to me, I don't know if you feel the same way, but some of these shows that I would rank really high, I didn't get to see in person. And when you see comedy in person, it's just
it's way better.
So much more enriching.
That's what I was saying. Like Christella, we saw her this year, and we saw Angela Johnson. Mm-hmm. Those two, actually, I think it was Angela Johnson that my wife and I were just, kind of flipping through fucking
what to do
our media, and it was a Friday, and we're like, Angela Johnson here. She was here 2 nights. I think it was Saturday and Sunday. And so we're like, shit, let's go see her. And she was downtown at, I think, the Aztec Theater.
Yeah.
Which is a really small venue, man. It's super small. Like, I don't think I'd ever been there before. And we got tickets for that Sunday. Went to go see her. It was really good. Like, I love going to see live shows, stand-up, that type of stuff. I'm not super big into stand-up comedy, but if you present me with stand-up comics that I really like, I would love to go see them. Somebody like Dave Chappelle, probably not, because it's hard to get those tickets, and then the price kind of gets up there. I think Angela Johnson, we couldn't have paid more than like $40-$50.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
It's like, yeah.
Well, what's funny is, so I remember going to Paul Rodriguez. I didn't even pay because I was still a kid, technically. I think I was 17 years old.
So you never paid for stand-up comedy?
Yes, I paid for stand-up. But going to see him in Vegas at that time was, I think, $75 a ticket.
That's pretty expensive.
at that time.
Yeah.
And then fast forward 5 years or so, and Paul Rodriguez came to Amarillo, and the tickets were between $15 and $50 or something like that.
Yeah.
So Vegas has always had a premium on the shows.
Yeah. And I've never been to Vegas to watch anything, so yeah. Some of these, I mean, like I was saying, I don't think I'd ever go see Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I love Dave Chappelle. Like, my favorite of his stand-up is probably Killing Me Softly. That's when he is like, I think it's his first one, his first major stand-up. And that's my go-to, like, if I want to listen to Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
But some of these other comics that are not as big and they're like $30-$40, I'm in. Let's go.
Well, the thing that I miss most, specifically for comedy, back in the day, this was probably my late high school years into early college. It's whenever they had the Latino Laugh Festival on HBO.
Yeah.
And they would film it here in San Antonio. I lived in Amarillo, and seeing that, they had the I'm trying to remember what the name of the comedy venue was at River Center Mall.
Yeah.
But it was filmed between there and then out on the little amphitheater on the river. And man, that stuff was hilarious. Like, all those comedians at that time, I don't know of one episode where I was like, that guy sucks. Like, every single comedian, like, I was having a great time watching. And I remember I'd record it on VCR just so I'd have it ready to go just in case I missed it.
Yeah, there was a stand-up comic that came up on, I think she was on America's Got Talent or something like that. Mm-hmm. She was from the Bronx. She was freaking hilarious. I remember when we used to watch that show. I think it was Gina Brion or something like that. And I never followed her after that. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh man, she's really funny. I need to check it out. And then you kind of just do something else. Yeah. And then she popped back up a couple of years ago where she had done the stand-up. And I need to watch it, but she was freaking hilarious. She was, people from the Bronx have the Bronx accent. She was probably Puerto Rican or whatever. But she was freaking hilarious. John Leguizamo, I love John Leguizamo.
I'm glad you brought him up because I kind of forgot about it, but yes.
John Leguizamo is a great actor. I think he's really good. I love him and just about everything he's done. But his stand-up, it's hard to freaking...
His early stand-up, especially.
Yes. The last one, what is it? Like, it's about history, something like that? Or American history? Or I forgot.
Latin American history for idiots or something.
Yeah, something like that. And I try to watch it, and like I said, if you're Hispanic, you're gonna get my download. Like, I'm gonna support you. But oh my god, man, I was just like...
his early stuff, I had a hard time watching it.
I forgot what it was called.
And then he came out with that movie, The Pest.
The Pest.
And I was like,
terrible.
This is awful. This is a stupid freaking movie. And so I had a hard time following him.
Yeah.
But now I kind of like his stuff. But what's crazy about it, it's not really for the comedy. It's because I find what he has to say or what he brings to the table, like he's been doing where he's going to different cities and exposing the Hispanic culture in that city.
Yeah.
Like I get a kick out of all that content.
Yeah, I watched one of those really where he went to Chicago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was I think it was a Mexican family.
Yeah, usually
Yeah. So, yeah, but his stand-up I just couldn't get into. I loved him in he was in John Wick. He plays a great role in John Wick. But man, this stand-up is
Benny Benicio from the Bronx.
Yeah, Benny from the Bronx.
Or Benny from the
yeah, that was, isn't it Carlos something or
Carlitos Way?
Carlitos Way. Yeah, he was great in that one.
Yeah.
You have Cheech, his is okay, but like I said, I wish my fellow Hispanics would just bring up their A game like the women are. I think the women are bringing
Cheech.
Heat.
You can't have Cheech without Chong.
Yeah,
it's not complete.
But it just none of them are. I actually think the women are doing better than the guys.
Yeah.
With Angela Johnson,
that's it. I do feel that Fluffy could fit in a top 10, top 15 max.
he would, because we looked up his sales and he freaking sells a lot. But mine personally,
So I always try to differentiate, you know, because I got preferences that I know other folks don't, and vice versa. So, but just what he has brought to the table, knowing that people of Hispanic culture and outside of that are buying his tickets, because otherwise you don't get to that level.
right?
And then he's able to pivot between having like adult humor to that general audience humor.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it, and I was telling you that our EITs, we have 3 EITs, and they're from India, born in India, studied in India, got their bachelor's in India, and got their master's here in the United States. And Fluffy has a stand-up that talks about the similarities between Mexican culture and Indian culture. And so I watched that stand-up. It was pretty good. I mean, I just, it's not kind of my, I just don't put him as, but I was entertained.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go to work, right? And I was like, man, I got to tell you about this stand-up comic. And I was telling him, he goes, and one of the kids was like, Fluffy. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh shit, you know? He goes, yeah, he's famous. He was like, I was like, damn. Because it's hard to talk to him about anything American pop culture stuff because they don't
know. Yeah.
And plus they're super young, right? They're 25.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, if I say Karate Kid, they're like, what? You know? But I was impressed, or I was kind of surprised that they knew who it was, one, and that, yeah, they're like, yeah, we know who that is. Yeah, we know what you're talking about. I was like, damn. So he's a lot bigger than I gave him credit for. So with that, I was like, okay, so he's a lot bigger than I know of. But I mean, and I was entertained with that one. So I'm not gonna crap on him or anything like that. But I'll definitely think he's better than George Lopez, though.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I know when I'm saying that it's a personal view versus what the sales say.
All right, so we can't agree on top 5, right? So let's agree on.
Let's just agree to disagree.
What's your top? Like, if you had to choose, I know, like with me personally, if somebody tells me Richard Pryor, I was like, yeah, I can't really combat Richard Pryor, but when I'm on a long trip on vacation and I'm driving 13 hours because I don't want to fly because I want to save some money, and I put on a stand-up, I'm not going Richard Pryor, honestly.
Really?
No, I'm going Eddie Murphy Raw. I'm going Chris Rock. I'm going Cat Williams. I'm going Killing Me Softly. You're So Crazy. Like, I'm going with one of those. Like, what is your top go-to if you wanted to listen to a stand-up comic?
Well, I've certainly said this before on the podcast, but I don't typically like to watch things multiple times.
Yeah, but you're listening to it, so it's different.
Well, with that in mind, I would easily pick Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
easy.
Okay.
I would pick a Richard Pryor.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of great stuff.
Yeah, I don't know of a time that he let me down, even though it was when I was barely catching up because he was technically a little bit before my time. I would put Dave Chappelle.
Chappelle's great.
And then I would do like Bill Burr and George Lopez. Or no, Paul Rodriguez.
Okay, yeah, that's better. Much better. Much better.
Go with Rodriguez.
Okay, so we'll agree on Eddie Murphy Raw. And there you go. Give us your top 5. Yeah, I mean.
But the motion is pick your top 5 and have reasons for it.
There you go. Yeah. All right, there you go. Board approved. Eddie Murphy Raw. Go listen to it. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post about it on your social media and or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram and X. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.